Tommy Gunn. How are you, mate?
Big dog, big kahuna, Carlos. Pretty good, mate. How you going?
Good, mate. I'm just changing asses all morning. It's been a shit-a-thon in this house with nappies.
Some bad nappies, mate. Some bad ones.
They're not bad. Like, just smelly now, like, and thick.
Thick. He's got past the sloppy stage, mate.
Yeah. How long did that take for your young buck? Because he has just gone thick shits early. Because he's a month on. He's a month in 2 days.
A couple of months, I think, and then it all settles down. Like, and then they get their own sort of.
He had no shits to real thick shits.
I remember those black ones at the start. You know, in the hospital.
Black. That was pouring out of Keely because he shit inside of her.
It was extremely graphic.
It was all over my feet.
You're mad, man. That's disgusting.
Nah, doesn't matter. All
no,
right,
a couple of months, but yeah, like, and then it gets better. I mean, my boy's walking now, so before you know it, mate.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Up on the heels. Good on him.
Mate. He's
good on him.
Yeah. Late bloomer, but he got
ladies. There. Watch out, ladies. Here I come.
He's on the prowl.
He's put on. He put on fucking. He hadn't put much weight on over the first 3 weeks, and he put 275 grams on in 4 days.
Yes, mate. Once they
Big
get settled
monster
into the groove, mate, ready to go. I mean, my boy's gonna have to play rugby or AFL, I reckon, because his body's not built for football. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna
Get him
happen.
over to South Africa. Get him into a private school in Pretoria.
Yeah. Start playing the union.
Mate. Well, Cobber, big news again. Lionel, gone. Number 30.
Guys, he's got the number back from when he first joined Barca. I mean, number 30 again. It's mad. It's insane. He's finally gone. I mean, they're just going to be unstoppable.
I was watching his highlights this morning of that Messi, that goal where he just beats everywhere with the real long flowing hair.
Yeah, that Maradona-esque goal. Yeah, I know, mate. It's insane. I actually watched that this morning too. So I've read reports that he's on $1 million a week. So his contract is 53 million, I think, per year, which is insanity. So ridiculous amount of money.
Did you see that thing? And I don't know how true this is, but I saw it this morning on Instagram, which there's no truth to it probably, but there's a Qatari team, a Qatari-based team, like in Qatar, offered him a $1 billion 3-season contract.
Do you reckon that's true?
I don't think so, but if it is, holy guacamole. But why would you want to go live in Qatar? It's that hot.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if China or a Chinese team or something like that threw mega money at him. I'm sure someone tried, but he's not going to go play there. He's still got it in him, man. He's still going to be the best in the world.
I reckon he's going to play for at least another 2 or 3 seasons. He's not going to pull up stumps anytime soon.
Well, it's interesting,
he's going
right?
to be hanging about.
Because he was set to sign a new 5-year deal at Barcelona, right? But now his deal at PSG is to 2023, so it's only a 2-year deal. So you would imagine, I mean, he's 34 now. You would imagine 2 years.
For like a last hurrah.
I reckon that could be the plan, eh? Get their financials ready, and then he just goes back and finishes.
Just go back and say thanks.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane. I've got it up here, and all the PSG. And it's wild.
A lot's happened. John Stones 5-year extension at City. Tammy Abraham off to Roma. Play with big bad Jose Mourinho.
So
Kane's back to play City. There's a lot of stuff going on at the moment. A lot of
Kane
stuff.
apparently he said
Willick.
that he's the reason why he didn't go to training and all that was for other reasons other than the transfers. And I reckon it's a lot of bullshit. I reckon he wanted something to happen. It didn't really happen, and now he's kind of had to backtrack and be like, well, fuck, I got to stay at Tottenham.
Do you know who I reckon's a sneaky good pickup? Is Adam Armstrong for Southampton from Blackburn.
Yes, I've just seen that.
That's a pretty good pickup.
4-year deal.
Good goal scorer, fast.
He scored 28 goals in 40 appearances last year for Blackburn.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad in the Championship. That's a pretty good
arguably the hardest competition when it comes to like pressure.
The Championship is the flat-out most competitive league in the world because every single team wants to get in the Premiership, and it's hard to stay up. Because every team's just gunning for each other. There's no like, we'll just play to be in mid-table. Everyone's trying to get up to the premiership because it's
they want to get up there. You get 170 mil.
Well, notoriously, that playoff final, they call it the richest game in football because it is. Like that,
bloody oath.
The amount of money you get for when you win that championship final and go up to the premiership, it's hundreds of millions, mate. It's hundreds because all the TV deals, the sponsorships, it's ridiculous. That's why when teams go down, they lose so much money because they can't afford to keep the players anymore, and it's such a drop-off in money. So if you're going up and down, it can really fuck teams. But yeah, good signing for Southampton. He was originally at Newcastle, mate, so you guys got rid of him.
Mate.
Imagine if you had him now.
We just signed Willock, though. I like Callum Wilson. I really like Alan. We know my feelings on Alan. I get very good Alan St-Maximum. I think Joe Willock being there full time is going to be... I am predicting now that we're not going to finish 18th because of Joe Willock specifically. I think he's that good. I think he's good enough to push us up into...
Jeez, Joe Willock had a good end to the year.
14 or 15, somewhere like that. And then once Big Bad Potato Head goes, we'll probably, hopefully, push into 10 in the next 35 years, which would be nice. Righto, Tommy, let's... get fair into this round one predictions.
Absolutely,
what do you think about game one, Brentford v Arsenal, the Bees versus the Gunners?
My predictions?
The up-and-comers. Yes, give me your predictions. Give me the winner. Give me the score. Give me your feelings on the game. If it's going to be a bludger, if it's going to be a belter, if it's going to be a downright stinker. Tell me what you think it's going to be.
Well, we've talked about this before off air a few times, Ben. Like I said before, like Brentford coming up, like, they're going to have a point to prove. They're at home. Fans are back. So they're going to be playing the first time in the Premiership, and it's against Arsenal. I just got a funny feeling, man. They're going to turn up, and they're going to do it. They're going to put a number on Arsenal. I don't think they're going to win by big, but I reckon Brentford are going to be up for it. The fans are going to be up for it, and Arsenal aren't going to be up for it. Like you said in our, in our last episode, you're not over. You're not excited by Arsenal. They don't get you going.
No,
they're
nothing.
Flat.
Nothing at all. They do nothing for me.
Exactly.
They absolutely do nothing for me.
So I just think Brentford might be up for it and they might steal it. I think it'll probably be 2-1. I can't see it being some high-scoring thriller like a 3-3 or anything like that.
Yep.
Arsenal obviously have the potential to win.
It's in Brentford. It's in Brentford.
Yeah, Brentford at home. So yeah, just Brentford being at home. First game of the Premiership in like fucking. Who knows? I don't even know if they've been in the top division. They probably have been, but fucking years ago. So yeah, first time playing the Prem against Arsenal, who are dodgy anyway. Not sure if Ben White's going to make that much of a difference. I reckon
I agree.
The Bees, the old Bumbles will.
The old Bumbles.
Will get.
I think
they'll get the W.
I agree. I think they're going to come out gangbusters. I think Ivan Toney's going to score. I think he's really exciting.
He did well in the championship.
There's a lot of upside. They've got a lot of upside to Ivan Toney. They've got Pontus Janssen from Leeds. They've got some fair youth coming through. I really don't think they're going to be there at the arse end of the year. I think they're going to get punted. But I reckon round one, they're going to come out and have a red-hot crack. I think they got this Josh Da Silva fella from somewhere in Germany.
Yeah. I know there was a Da Silva that played for Bristol City, but I don't know if it's the same one.
I think Arsenal, yes, they've got some great... They've had some good buys. Nuno Tavares come, I think, from Benfica he might have played for.
Yes, correct.
Bukayo Saka, I reckon he's going to have a good season. I really do.
He will. He's a good young player.
Same as Ben White. I don't think Ben White's going to really provide too much or change the way that you play that much. I think they might come out a bit stale the first couple. And I really think you're right. I think Brentford's going to win. I think they're going to win 1-0 in a bit of a roundabout sort of a game. I think it might be exciting-ish for Brentford, but I don't think it'll be an overall exciting game.
I think the first 10 to 15 minutes they'll come out and they'll be all guns blazing. That crowd will get right behind them. And that first 10 to 15, I reckon there'll be a lot of shots on target from Brentford. And Arsenal will have to work themselves in the game. I think you're dead right when you say that Brentford will fall off a fucking cliff towards the middle and the arse end of the year.
They're not going to win many.
No, they won't. But I just generally feel like I said to you a few weeks ago, that when teams get promoted and it's the opening day, you never want to play them. because
Never.
the result can just go either way because they're so up for it, and it's just a dangerous game to play. I've seen so many times before, teams come up and they beat, a top big 4 names. Side or a really big name. So I definitely think Brentford can get the going. Well, like I said, they don't excite me, Arsenal, anyway. So, wow.
And you know what? I hope they do. I really hope they beat.
It'd just be good for the league anyway, man.
I haven't decided yet who I truly hate as a Premier League team. Like your hatred for Man United, I love it, and I want to have the same hatred for someone. And I haven't decided who it is yet, but the more I angle towards it, the more it's Arsenal. And
discuss.
Like they're from London, their colours do nothing for me.
You don't like the red and white?
They think they're better than everyone. Not really. Like I like the Dragons in the NRL. I like their uniform. I just don't like Arsenal.
Do you know what I reckon it is?
Team that I hate. Like I can't stand Sunderland, obviously, but they're dead shits that float around in the bloody second division. So who cares what they
do? But I think what it is ever since Arsenal Fan TV has become really popular, because you're seeing.
Oh, hasn't it ever? Yeah,
because you're seeing all these interviews, right? You're seeing all their fucking fans that are just tossers, and they complain all the time when they shouldn't be complaining. Like, they fucking wanted Wenger out so badly, and they used to complain about him all the time, the Wenger out brigade, and then they got rid of him, and they got fucking worse. And now they're like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't have got rid of it. And they're just, so that's probably why you dislike them, because you're seeing it all the time on social media that their fans are a pile of shit. Like, I love Robbie, the guy that hosts it and made it. He's a fucking don. He's a mad dude. But yeah, the rest of them could just be real spoiled and entitled. Like they think
that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah,
that's the way I feel.
They think just because they're a big team,
other teams from London. I think so too. But I look at other teams from London, and I don't see their fans being the same way, and I don't see, I don't have the same dislike. Like I look at Chelsea, and I'm like, oh, they're alright. I don't really dislike them at all. And then I look at some other teams, and I'm like, meh.
It's funny, right? Well, because whatever. Like Chelsea really. They weren't a big team till 2004. So if you were really going to dislike someone, in 2004. Like it should be them, because they were just an average sort of team. They won an odd FA Cup here and there. But they were never a top 4 side until they got bought out by Abramovich. So really, they're just.
But you can say that about everyone. It's the same thing about Man City and fuck those.
Well, not really, man. Because like City and Chelsea are the 2 teams that had been bought out with. By Russians, and then by obviously the sheiks, and so the oil money came in, and they only became successful because they got bought out. Whereas teams like, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, they were never bought out and just instantly become successful. They've been successful for years and years and years and years, and I would argue that the top 3 teams in the country are. Liverpool, United, and Arsenal by far.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Although, although Chelsea have won two European Cups, so you can't. I mean, it's hard to say, isn't it?
I would love that. I would love it if the fucking top 6 would let Newcastle get bought by that Arab money. That would be the best thing in the world. But you know what I would love to see as well. Do you know? Because all this oil money keeps coming into the game. I'd love to see some Italian prick who's like. Rich as fucking olive oil money just come in and just buy some team. You know what I mean? Like instead of having this like crude oil, just some cunt living on a mountain with olive oil money just comes in and buys Crystal Palace. And just here you go.
Pastas and pizza.
Oh mate, just get it in there with olive oil money. But we've digressed. Game number 2, Man United versus Leeds United. What do you think? Mate. The Battle of the United. Up the top of the country.
That's a derby, mate.
Living up
right there. Leeds and Man United hate each other.
How do you feel? What's your gut feeling?
I think it's going to be very, very exciting.
I agree with you 100%.
I think it's just going to be attack, because Leeds don't hold back. They don't care who you are. They're going to come at you. Even if they lose 4-0, they'll just keep attacking you. So I think it's going to be...
Yeah, I agree.
Super gung-ho, really exciting game. I think there'll be goals in it, but I just think towards the start of this year, being back at Old Trafford and having those fans back in the old toilet, they'll be up for it. Now, I think Jadon Sancho, if he plays, if he starts, but he'll probably come on. I think they will be up for it, man, and they'll probably win 4-1 or 3-1 or something like that. There'll be goals in it, and they'll probably start their season pretty well. I don't think Varane's going to be there in time, But you would imagine that they're still going to sign him. It's just a formality.
I think so too. I think United are going to win 3-1. Looking at the Leeds squad, I have a look at that team and I think, Jesus Christ, there is a lot of young talent in here that's going to be cherry picked by the big squads. Like,
I would have thought Bamford would have got a crack, but he hasn't just yet.
Well, that's right. And he was behind that chemo roof for a while, and he got injured a little bit. I think he had a couple of knee injuries, and then. But there's a lot of sort of youngish fellas there that look like they can do a job. Calvin Phillips has really changed the way he plays.
Well, I mean, look at what he did in the Euros, mate. I mean, now he's actually got a reputation about him. He played very well.
He does.
He didn't do himself.
He did play very well.
Yeah, he didn't put a foot wrong. You know what I mean?
Mate, Junior Firpo come over from Barcelona. Thiago Alcantara's brother Rafinha out wide.
No, that's another Rafinha.
Is it another Rafinha?
It's another Rafinha.
How many Rafinhas are there? They're like Llorente.
I know, mate, they are. It's Brazilians, mate. So
I think, I agree with you. I think 3-1. I think Rashford. This is a bold call. Rashford hat-trick.
Well, it depends if he plays up front or if he plays off the left. I don't know what.
I still think he's going to score a hat-trick. I really think Rashford hat-trick.
Even if he plays off the left.
Even if he plays off the left, mate. Sancho on the right. There's going to be a lot of. There's going to be a lot of hubbub around him because he's a young English bloke who's come back from Germany and blah, 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 blah. He'll get found out a little bit. I think he's going to get out-muscled by a couple of the big Leeds defenders. I think Rashford's going to have some freedom. He's going to be pissed off. He's going to be ready to go. He's played in this league for a long time. He is, in my opinion, United's absolute strike weapon. So, watch out, Leeds.
You don't think they're going to invest in Mason Greenwood up top?
Oh, look, he's got a lot of upside, doesn't he?
He does, man.
He's got a lot of upside. They're going to play, I reckon Cavani will start for sure. I think Greenwood has a ton of upside to him.
So for Cavani up top, Greenwood on the right, Rashford on the left, and then Sancho off the bench, I reckon that's what they'll do.
You know what?
I could be wrong.
The thing with Rash is you could play him as a striker, no problem.
Yep. No
problem. He would be running around, leaving marks all over people, and then you could play Greenwood on the left, potentially. Mm-hmm. Or you could even... They're spoilt for choice, the fuckers. They are spoilt for choice. Well, fuck them anyway. Next game, what are we up to? Leicester v Wolves.
Fuck them anyway.
You hate them. You hate them.
Look, I'm only doing it for the show, mate, but yeah, it's very hard to talk about something that you just despise.
Leicester v Wolves, speak to me.
Wait till we get the old boy on the show, mate. He'll throw him under the bus.
Victor, don't let him have a shower before the thing. We'll be waiting a very, very long time.
Victor the Inflictor, mate.
Yes, mate.
Leicester v Wolves.
Hit me. Yes. What's your opinion on this one?
Wolves don't excite me, man. I got to be honest. They haven't really done much in the transfer window.
And they've got a lot of people on the punt. There's a lot of people leaving.
That's right. So it's not exactly a great time for them. I don't know, man. I think Leicester, they've kept their good players. They've still got Maddison. They've still got Tillemans.
They got Maddison for now. I reckon he is.
Yeah, look, it's not a guarantee if he's going to stay there. But as of right now, round one against Wolves, they're going to still have their best squad.
Absolutely. Tillemans is a great player.
I can't see them not winning, man. I think Leicester will probably win 2-0. Something like that. I'd be very surprised if Wolves...
it's in Leicester too.
Yes, it is. The old King Power. And
I agree with you. I think Leicester... I reckon Vardy... I think their formation last year was quite odd, playing two up front all the time, and they sort of had... They played three at the back quite a few times, and it was very weird. But I think Vardy... he's not on the slide, but he's that type of player that he'll just play other people into great position.
It's just his pace,
so like
mate.
This,
he's so
that Kelechi Iheanacho, he'll score between 15 20 this year, and Vardy will just be always around, running people off the ball, running people out of the play. He'll score a couple himself. He's a weapon. Old Schmeichel in goal.
Yep.
What a name for a blonde fella, Casper. What a name. Casper, the friendly keeper. Get in there, you mongrel.
They haven't done him any favours there, have they?
No, I think it's going to be 2-1. I don't think there's going to be too many defences that are going to be rock solid round one. I think there's going to be most games will have goals scored by either side, and I think there's going to be one of them. It's going to be 2-1.
That's a pretty good call because you are right. Like opening day, usually, fitness is still, worry. Players are still getting back to full fitness, and teams haven't really got their tactics down pat. So things are a lot more open and a lot more spread. So teams aren't exactly so solid. So I think that's a fair call. Correct. There will be goals near enough in every game.
And for home teams, I think especially, because the crowds are going to be back and they're going to be boisterous, it's really going to pump up a lot of these home teams round one. Huge.
Especially for a team like us. We really draw on that crowd. It's a massive, massive advantage for teams now. Massive.
I agree with you completely, mate.
So we got Leicester winning.
Game number 4. Yeah, I got Leicester winning as well. I've got them winning 2-1. Fairly comfortably, though. I don't think that one's going to really bother them.
Too much threatening attacks from Wolves.
What about the old Blue Boys versus Palace?
I can't see anything else than a Chelsea win, can you? I mean,
No, I agree, and I think this is going to be a high scorer. Actually, no, I don't. I think it's going to be a low scorer. I think it's going to be a 2-1 again.
I think 3-0. I think that
3-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't think Palace. I was just saying there's going to be goals in a lot of games, but I just don't think Palace. I mean, they don't go. What have they got going forward? Wilfred Zaha, that's about it.
Zaha.
Yeah.
Appreciate Eze, Christian Benteke. Did he come from Liverpool, Benteke?
Benteke was, sold from us to Palace, but before us he was at Villa.
They really don't have much going forward.
No,
Zaha is great. I'm amazed he's never been bought by some other big team.
Well, it's strange, because he's tried to push and move a couple of times, but they've kind of fallen through. Like Arsenal were in for him at one point, but then didn't want to splash too much. Palace held out for a little bit more, and then he's kind of just never left, and now he's just still there, and he's still a solid player. But I just don't think the Palace. I mean, I know Patrick Vieira's there now, and it's really cool to see Vieira back in the league, and he will make them. I think he will make them better long term.
I think so too.
But initially, game one, I think Chelsea are too strong, man. They just won the Super Cup.
I think so.
They just bought Lukaku. He was not going to play because he hasn't.
Romelu.
I don't think he's made it in time. But
no.
Yeah, I just think.
I still think he's going to be the top. I still think 27 from him, regardless if he misses the first few games or not. If you look at Chelsea on paper, right, and this is why on paper is such a wonderful thing to look at because nothing's happened. But midfield going forward, leave their defence out because I think their defence has got a lot of holes in it. But their midfield going up to their forwards now, especially with Lukaku, is top 3 in the world, if not top 2.
Top 3 in the world. That's a big call,
mate. You look at it. They got Conte, Havertz, and really playing well at the moment. Mason Mount playing really well. Lukaku up top. Hakim Ziyech. I know he can play as a right sort of wing back, but if you put him in the midfield, really good. Werner as a winger, just doing his thing, really good. Jorginho, solid as shit. They're pretty good, man.
They are pretty good. But isn't it funny, right? Because Jorginho last year in the league actually had a dog shit year. But
yes, he did.
He goes to the Euros and plays in the Italian squad and has a lot of better players around him. And the way they play kind of suits his style. They play more defensive.
Absolutely.
And
is he Brazilian?
I'm assuming he's probably got a Brazilian last name, but he's Italian.
He looks Brazilian. I know he's Italian.
Jorginho doesn't sound Italian, but he's definitely Italian. No. Yeah. But yeah, it's funny, man. Some players go to internationals and stand out, and then they come back to their their club side and they're not that great. I don't know. He was pretty average last year. He was. Do you know what the crazy thing about Chelsea is? And this is going to blow you away. I'm pretty sure last season they won the Champions League, right? I'm fairly certain he was their top goal scorer, 7 goals.
Jorginho.
Yeah, that's how crazy Chelsea season last year, how shit they were going forward. So I'm pretty sure it is. I'd have to have a look. But yeah.
That's odd.
It was Jorginho.
That's odd, man. I know Timo had a bludger.
7 goals.
Timo had a bludger last.
He scored 7 goals, and he was their top goal scorer, and they won the Champions League. Can you believe it? That's it.
It just shows you how good their midfield's holds, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's why I think the best player in the world at the moment.
Are they? Yeah. They only none of them got goals, man.
Not now, but with big Romelu up there. And if you've got Conte behind you, you know my adoration for N'Golo Conte. I love that man.
He's your favourite player.
I don't care in every interview. That's a bold call, Cotton, but I think he is right up there with one of them. He's got a song about him. He's just a nice dude. Every time he says thank you to someone, he says fuck you. He's just my type of guy, right? Fuck you. I love him. He drives a Mini. He's got a broken phone. He's a people's player.
He's down to earth, isn't it? Well,
if you find one person who's got a bad thing to say about him, I guarantee you that person's a shit bloke.
Well, every time they've won the Premiership, any time Kante's been in a side that's won a Premiership, he's won the Player of the Year, or pretty much been the Player of the Year. So Mara's won it at Leicester, but pretty much Kante was pretty much the why that they won it. And then he wins it the next year for Chelsea and wins the Premiership with Chelsea.
Ridiculous. The next game we've got is Elton John's boys versus Grealish's leftovers. Watford with the Elton John stand. I still can't. It annoys me
because he's the best thing that's come out of Watford. What are you struggling to understand about that?
Oh, but imagine you'd be filthy if you were a Watford player. You'd be dead set.
There's been no player ever that's been good for Watford. He's the biggest thing. He's bigger than the club.
Yeah, I know, but still.
That's Sir Elton,
he sits there with a weird little hat and odd glasses and sings great songs, by the way. I do like Sir Elton. Don't get me wrong about that. He's a great musician, but still.
Wouldn't it be funny if
that would be like having someone from Liverpool, right? Like instead of having what's the Anfield stands called?
Well, they're all named after something. So you got the Cop and then you.
So they're not named after players?
Yeah, they do. They've got the Kenny Dalglish stand.
Okay, so the Kenny Dalglish stand is now fucking
the Beatles.
The George Michael stand.
No, but
fuck off.
It'd have to be the Beatles. This is the biggest thing.
I don't know who's from Liverpool. Well, there you go. It's the Beatles stand. It's just not right. It's not right. Elton John should name an album like Troy Deeney or something like that.
Deeney. But what if every time they scored a goal, right,
the ballads of Troy Deeney,
the music that plays, instead of having like just the generic music, what if it was like
Benny and the Jets?
What if it was like I'm still dancing, like
that's a good song. He's got some belter songs. Anyway, we're off tangent. Who do you think's going to win this one and why?
I'm going to go Villa because I still think Watford. I'll pick Watford to be rock bottom on the bottom of the table. So if they're, if you're going to be that rock bottom and you're only going to get 3 wins in a year, I don't think this is one of them.
I agree.
Look, I think Villa will be a bit average without Grealish, but they've got Danny Ings now. He's potent up top. Leon Bailey.
Come in
Leon Bailey's good signing.
Leon Bailey is my breakout player of the year in the Prem. For me, he is my absolute breakout player of the year. I look at this Watford squad and I think to myself, how on earth are you even going to get 3 wins? But I think they will. They'll knock someone off. I look at the Villa squad and I think to myself, there's still a bit going on here. They've got a fair bit. Leon Bailey, the speed machine from Jamaica. Ashley Young's back. He's old as hell, but still. Ollie Watkins is there. Tyrone Mings, I hate him. I cannot stand
totally
Tyrone
forgot
Mings.
about fucking Ollie Watkins, man.
Yes, mate. He'll be up front.
So what are they going to have?
El
2 up
Ghazi.
front?
Oh, probably. Maybe.
Yeah.
Trezeguet. Just Danny Ings as well. They've got a lot of they've got a lot going on here. It's a squad that you sort of think
it's a good enough team to beat Watford. That's my thing.
Oh shit! If they don't beat Watford, I'll be really surprised.
I think it'll be 2-1.
I think it's going to be 3-0.
That's ambitious.
And I think that's going against my thing before, where most teams are going to score. But Watford for me have nothing going forward. Nothing. They got Yao Pedro, an 18-year-old Brazilian. They've got
they got that Ismail Assar.
Yeah, Ismail Assar, but he's all right, whatever.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I think 3-1, and I mean 3-0. Sorry, and it'll be shut the gate. See you later, Elton John. That's my opinion on that.
No
game.
songs being played for you.
Not at all. Everton Southampton. What do you think? What are you feeling?
Rafa's first game in charge.
Rafa.
At Old Goodison. I'll tell
that's
you,
odd.
That's
weird, isn't it?
It's strange.
That's weird. How many clubs has Rafa been in charge of?
A few
in England.
So he's
Newcastle, where he was unfairly pumped from.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
So he's been at. He was at Liverpool first. Then he went to Chelsea, and then he went to I think Inter or Real Madrid.
Yeah, he did. He went
one of the two. I don't know which one he went to first, but he went to those two, and then he came back and came to Newcastle, I think, after one of them.
Yeah, but he come to us in the Championship, I think, in or 15 or some shit like that.
And then he got you guys up. And then now he's at Everton.
Yes, he is. Do you think this Gylfi Sigurdsson sex scandal, potentially underage girls thing is going to have any distraction on this squad?
I think naturally it would. I think if that happened through any club, it'd be strange and weird to deal with. Obviously, there'd be players around probably talking about it. It's going to be around the club. How you shut that out, I'm not too sure. It's going to get
evident.
You know, they'll deal with it internally.
It's going to put him in the limelight.
Yeah,
if Richarlison goes, do you think Richarlison will piss off to Madrid? Real?
No, I mean, I
because
don't know.
Moise Keane's pretty good. He could play easily up front. I think Richarlison doesn't do much for me. Like, I watched him in the what's the opposite of bloody Euros?
Copa America.
These lunatics. Yeah, the Copa America, and he was up top. Meh. They were playing like on dirty old farm fields. It just didn't do much for me. It really showed to me though, like how different the world is. Like,
well, he used to play for Watford. They paid 35 million for him or whatever, and then he's gone to Everton.
Yeah.
His goal record's not that great. I mean, he has some fancy dribbling or whatever, but I don't think he's the bee's knees. I definitely don't think Madrid are going to buy him. Let's put it that way.
True.
I don't know. It's a weird one. Southampton have just lost Danny Ings, so there's a bit of a hole there up front for them now.
Yep.
Not entirely sure if they've replaced him just yet. But
James Ward-Prowse is a pretty solid player.
Yeah, he's always been a pretty
I'm surprised
pretty good
he's still at Southampton. Theo Walcott's there. Shea Adams, meh. I think, Jordan Pickford at Everton, the English keeper, he's pretty solid. That Moussa Genpo, he's pretty zippy, that bastard out on the left. He can do a job.
Look, I'm going to say, I reckon this is going to be a draw, man. I don't think either side...
I agree.
I don't think either side...
agree on everything?
Well, maybe we just have the right... we know our football. Or either that... Either we know our football, or we're fucking going to be 100% wrong.
Oh, dead shit. Dead shittery.
Yeah, either
what do you reckon? I think this game's going to be 1-1, and I've got this as my bludger of the round.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 1-1. I think it's going to be pretty boring. Actually, I think there's another game straight after that's going to be a pretty deadbeat game too.
Yeah.
But
that's going to... 50 mil Brighton, just hanging out.
But I think,
hanging out at the Hove. We need to ask Vic what a Hove is.
Everton, Southampton, nothing happening there. Nothing exciting. And yeah, I think it'll just be a dead shit boring game. 1-1. That's my pick.
I agree. My bludger of the round too. That's my absolute bludger of the round when it comes to games. Well, speaking of the next one, Burnley versus Brighton and Hove. What is a Hove? I still don't know. I'm not even going to bother looking it up. I'll ask your dad.
Is there even much to talk about, mate?
Now, this one, I'm willing to just... I'm going to say to her, this one will be a 0-0 stinker.
0-0.
0-0 stinker, but not as boring as the game before.
No.
Which sounds weird because there's two games, but this is going to be a 0-0 stinker.
I don't think there's much happening there. Brighton haven't invested their money yet. They still have some decent young talent. Burnley just...
Dicey's a mad dog.
I've got Burnley going down, man. I don't think that... I think this might be the year that they only just survived last year, and they don't really... They're not going anywhere. They just play They remind... Like, a couple of years ago, Stoke were the same. They just played the same sort of way every single year, and eventually just caught up with them. And that's Burnley.
Yep.
It's just that long ball, route one, defense, and eventually it's going to catch up to you.
Absolutely. Brighton and Hove, to me, they're going to stay up, but they're not going to do anything impressing. Like, Danny Welbeck, he's been around forever. Good on him. They don't really... Neil Maupay's good. Aaron Connolly's okay. Adam Lallana being there might be pretty decent.
They've definitely got the better team.
I think... Oh, they've absolutely got the better team, and they're absolutely going to stay up, but they're not going to be like... They'll be forgotten about this year. They'll probably... I just think they're just going to be floating around the middle. See you later. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more, mate. I think it's just an average game. There's nothing that excites me about that game.
No. This next game is my game of the round. This is my excitement machine. If you're going to watch any game this week, watch Norwich versus Liverpool. I think this game will really put asses on seats, and I think it's going to be a belter.
It's tantalising, isn't it? Mate? I mean, you've got.
I think so.
You've got.
I really think this has got a lot of upside. This game.
So it's a very intriguing game for so many reasons that you know we'll just delve into it. I mean, especially coming from my side. because there's so many questions that still have, that need to be answered from us. Like, are we going to be better than last year? Are the boys coming back? Are they going to be fit enough? How are they going to handle it? Are they going to be up to speed? It's interesting. I would put money on it that Van Dijk and Gomez probably don't start this game. I'll be very surprised if they do. Unless Klopp thinks that Van Dijk's like a bloody fucking Terminator and he just wants to throw him in. I would say safe bet.
Miscus out on the left.
Yeah, it'll be Simicus out on the left because Robbo's injured, but not for he's not injured for long term. I've had a look. It's only a few weeks, probably 5 or 6 weeks, so that's not too bad. But it'll probably be Joel Matip and Konate, I reckon, in the middle, unless Van Dijk plays with Matip. I don't know. But yeah, so much to answer, man. Like, because if we come out and we look very slow and we look like lethargic and we don't look up for it and we say we lose this game, then the pressure straight away is going to be on us that these players are back and they're not up to scratch and they're not going to do anything. So already, even first game of the season, you don't want to put too much pressure on it, but it's already a must win because you want to get off to a good start. This day and age, you're getting off the bad starts in the league. It's very, very hard to win it, even though it's
hard to drag yourself off the bottom. I think I can't see you having a bad start. I reckon you're going to be redding and raring. I think Konate will start alongside Matip probably. I think this is going to be a 3-1. I reckon he's going to beat him 3-1 convincingly, and I think Trent's going to be man of the match. I think he's got some points to prove. I think Trent is going to have a breakout year, like a legitimate breakout year, because he's going to be feeding Mo constantly all year long, and I think Mo's going to score high. I think not as high as you said, 26, but I think Mo's going to score 20s at least, probably 24, 25, and Trent's going to feed him all year.
I'd argue that his breakout year was probably the year that we won the Premier League, and the only reason why he dipped in
But I think he's gone backwards.
I think the only reason why he dipped a little bit is because he hasn't had his defensive partners with him. So, like, if you
that's a very valid argument.
If you break down Liverpool and have this is why sometimes I feel like this team is so disrespected because the reason why we are so good and we're so effective, and the reason why those win backs are so good at going forward and they get a lot of balls and they get a lot of assists is because the two centre defenders they have with them in Van Dijk and Gomez are so fast that they can allow them to push on and they can cover that space. And when they didn't play last year, they still played that same way. And then they were getting caught out because the defenders that we had playing in Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, and Kabak and Jordan Henderson at times, they couldn't defend him and they couldn't help him out. And then so we had to change our system a little bit so we couldn't play so aggressive, and because usually they press up real high and we pen that team in, you know what I mean, in their half. And so I think Trent regressed, you're right, in terms of his performance, but it's not entirely his fault, I don't think, because he didn't have...
No, I agree with that, but I don't think he should have regressed. I think Trent should have tried to stay at the same level. And I know you can only be as good as you've got the players around you, right?
But he's never been a great defender, though, so he's better going forward than he is defending, so... To judge
Van Dijk makes everyone else around him.
Yeah, that's right. You put anybody at right back with Van Dijk next to you, you're going to be better.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Van Dijk plays on the left anyway.
I think Mo's going to score 2, and I think Eddie Griffin, Pootie Tang is going to score 1. Old Saddlebags Mane.
I think for me,
he looks like Eddie Griffin, man. You reckon? 1, 2, 3, one each for a top 3, because I can see Saddlebags putting 1 in.
He could. But
he's going to be Eddie Griffin and up the top. He's going to be straight out of all those great movies. And I think Milo Rashica, the Norwich new boy coming over from, I think it was Werder Bremen, he is going to put 1 in for Norwich. And it's going to be a very convincing win.
I think, here's my tip for it, just to round it off. I think this is what's probably going to happen. I think the first 10 to 15, Norwich are going to be on the fucking front foot. They're going to have heaps of the ball. They're going to be attacking. And that first 10 minutes might be a bit uneasy because they're going to have the fans behind them, like I said. Fans are back in the stadium for a newly promoted team. They're a very attack-minded team. And I think for that first 10 minutes, we're going to be a bit scared. They're going to have a few shots on target and stuff. And then we'll ease ourselves into the game and get control of the game, control of the ball. They may even nick an early goal. I'm not too sure. I think they may score against us. Like I said, just because the defense still needs to get some time together. But yeah, 3-1. I think we could probably win that game 3-1. You're right.
So do I. I think Billy Gilmore's a great loaning for Norwich. I think he's got a lot of upside. That young fella from Chelsea, the Scottish fella, he could do some wonders, especially if Cantwell goes to Villa.
But on
to the most important game of the round, Newcastle versus West Ham. God, I love these blokes. I don't know if Almiron's going to play. He hurt his knee pretty bad in the Copa America. My absolute favourite. We all know what I feel about Maxi. I think Maxi's going to have a good game. Callum Wilson gets to play in front of the proper fans for the first time. If Brucey starts us in a 5-back set, call it a game over. We're going to lose. It's so fucking disgraceful. At home, round 1, let's play 5 at the back. What a load of dog shit.
It's very defense-minded, mate. He's trying to set up his teams to not lose instead of trying to win.
That makes you sick. It makes me sick. Go back to the Newcastle of old. I know we haven't got Alan Shearer anymore. He's retired. We all know that. But for God's sake, we're always putting him in positions to do what he did best. Why are we just sitting back and letting teams come at us? You cannot, in the Premier League, in any league, most likely, just sit on your heels and let teams come at you all day and hopefully you can just head balls out of the box. What a joke. We're not good enough through the midfield. Like, Leeds are good enough in the midfield to counter-attack at the click of a finger. They can just feed balls up and off they go. We haven't got that. Well, I'm talking about Leeds, like we were talking about Leeds before. But our midfield is not as good as other midfields to be able to just counter-attack at the click of a finger.
Yes,
forwards are. I think Maxi and Callum Wilson are sensational forwards. I think they're really, really, really good. But our midfield, to me, is just piss poor.
It's a bit like jelly, isn't it? It's a bit soft. It's a bit gooey. There's not much substance.
And I look at the West Ham midfield, and they're really strong through the midfield. So, you know what? My heart is telling me to say Newcastle win this game 2-1. Maxi man of the match, and I'm just tears of joy. But my head's saying to me, West Ham win this game 2-1.
Look, I'm going to go with your... I'm leaning more towards your head too. I think West Ham will win this game. I think they're probably going to win 2-1, like you said. I just think that Newcastle, they're just a curious case. Sometimes they turn up and they play very well. I mean, they got Joe Willock now signed for $25 million.
Well, see, there's a lot of distance between Joe Willock signing and him actually playing, because there's, from what I'm reading in some of these forums and stuff, is that there's a lot of gap between what he wants and what we're offering him. So yes, we've bought him for the 25 mil, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's all sold and done as of yet.
So you're saying that just the fee's been agreed and the personal terms are still trying to be negotiated?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
I thought he was a done deal, but obviously if you would know more about it than me, because
that's what I'm reading at the moment. So it worries me because he really shores up our midfield. He's got a bit of spark to him. He's got a lot of vision. Him and Maxi together play really, really well. They can play off the cuff. And that's probably where Maxi's at his absolute best. And what he does, very similar to Maxi and Callum Wilson, is they are not lazy like Dwight Gale and Joel Linton and these fucking other fuckers up front. They will attack the ball from an attacking position, which when they're defending, I really like the way they play like that. But if you put Dwight Gale or some dead shit like Joel Linton up front and just sits there on his heels and looks at the ball, it's game over.
It's kind of the way football's played nowadays, man. I mean, if you don't have... if you're not defending from the front, so if you're not having your forwards press on the defense,
absolutely,
you're not going to, you need to. So the way teams are trying to set up now in terms of how they generate their chances going forward is that turnover in the opposition's half. So by winning the ball back high up the field, you're immediately on the attack.
Exactly.
Whereas the games,
and that's what Maxi does so well.
Years ago, never used to play like that. You used to be defense minded, and you'd turn the ball over, and then you'd slowly build. Whereas it's not like that anymore. And like you said, strikers up front that are fucking just statues and doing the old mannequin challenge and aren't moving.
They're dying. They're a dying breed.
They are a dire breed. The old, 6'2" monster. It's not gonna. It doesn't cut anymore. So you need mobile strikers that are gonna press, and it's hard.
And you know what? But when you watch them, this is what I think the best teams do. And obviously, there's the best players, but their whole team defends, and they defend as a unit. So if someone's pressing, someone's weight, like they're always on the ball. Last year, in our best games that Newcastle played, we attacked the ball in defence. And when we didn't attack the ball in defence, we got pumped every week.
That's right. But I think West Ham,
moving on.
also another topic to talk about them. They've
Yes.
still kept their best player in Declan Rice.
Yes, they have.
Going forward, they've still got Jared Bowen. They've signed
He had a decent Euros too.
Ben Rama. They've still got some nice tidy players, and I think they're just they're more of a structured team. I think they might suffer throughout the season, but I think that they're better currently right now than, unfortunately, than Newcastle. And a little funny fact is that now Mark Noble in world football is now the longest serving player at a particular club. It was Leo Messi, but now he's gone to PSG. It's now Mark Noble for West Ham United. How funny
the
is
Nobel
that?
Peace Prize. Give him a fucking medal. Good on him.
Oh, I was talking to a mate.
Good on
and
him.
he's like, if we make the Europa League final, surely you got to back Noble to start.
You'd have to.
You got to give him a run out, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Final game of the round.
Wrap it up. Bit of a talking point, this one. I think this one's got a lot
The
of...
Cockies, Tottenham Hotspur, the Golden Rooster, the old how years it going? Nuno Espirito Santo at the helm.
Sure, you know
Harry
that,
Kane potentially back. Son Heung-min, great player, great haircut, really smiley.
Extra smiley, you would say.
Real smiley. To me, they are not going to beat City this game. If
Not a chance in the world.
I will be unbelievably surprised if they beat City. I think this game is going to be a close-ish game, but City are going to win this one 3-1. Grealish is going to start because he's the $100 million man. There is no way they're putting him on the bench game one. Philly Foden will come out with a bit of a point to prove. Didn't play much in the Euros. Raheem's he's going to be somewhere. The big Portuguese monster Ruben Dias, all over the pitch. They're just unbelievable, aren't they? Like, you look at him. Fernandinho's still playing, and he's just turned 65 this year. So, like, you're laughing.
I think he signed a one-year deal. I'm pretty sure this has got to be his last year.
It'd have to be. Like, you look at him and you think, wow, where are you going to suffer? And then you think, you're not.
The only thing I would say about City, and I'm being very picky, is that if you talk about like holding central midfielders, they are a little bit weak. I mean, they've only got Rodri and Fernandinho, so it's not. Fernandinho's old. There's not a lot of pace in the middle of that. Central midfield, but going forward,
there's not much pace at all.
Going forward, they're so stacked, man. It's unbelievable.
I think Gundogan is much improved, and he
absolutely. He had a very good year last year. Almost say it's probably his breakout year for City at least.
Absolutely.
He played great. But yeah,
Aymeric Laporte, Dominic's brother, Aymeric, he's
back, but you can't get a game.
No, he can't. It's weird, isn't it? And you got Kyle Walker and Cancelo fighting it out every week. Benjamin Mendy, who was bought for big money from, I think it was Monaco, can't get a game.
And then Zinchenko and is Angelino come back from Red Bull yet, or is he?
No, I think he's still in RB.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's still in Leipzig, flinging him in with his left.
I would almost argue that he's better than Zinchenko.
I think so too. I think this might be Zinchenko's last hurrah at City. I think he's going to go somewhere else, probably Germany. Somewhere in Germany. His missus is hot. Have you seen that video where he gives her, I think she's a reporter or something, he gives her a smooch on the lips and all these people are looking at her. Weird.
Mate, footballers' wives, they're all good looking pieces,
I agree.
Mate. None of them are, they're not dating a 5 out of 10, let's put it that way.
I wish one of them did.
Yeah, just a common.
Imagine you see
just a common chick.
Yeah, Gabriel Jesus rolls up with like a chick weighing $1.40, just eating a bag of fucking chips, just sweating, and you go, Gabriel, and he goes, I like them big, and you go, oh, good on you, sweet. No wonder you can't score goals. She's got her own gravity. Oh well.
But yeah, I mean,
anyway,
you got to just briefly on Tottenham. You go through that team. I still think they're in a mess, man. You go like,
I agree.
I think Kane wants out. I think he's just trying to be professional about it, and he doesn't want to do Tottenham
because he has to be, because he's England's captain.
Exactly.
If he causes a stink and causes a scene, he's going to make himself look like an absolute fool. And see you later, English captaincy. You can.
That's right.
Gone.
So he's playing this incredibly smart. I don't think he's. People say, he's so professional and this and that. I don't think that he necessarily is. He doesn't want to fuck Tottenham over. And he doesn't want to make himself look like a dog, so he's trying to do it the right way. But unfortunately, I think that he's going to end up going. I can't see, because now that Messi's gone to PSG, that door's closed, and I don't think
Gone.
I don't think City have got eyes on any other striker in the world except for Kane. They still need to sign one because Aguero's fucked off and they haven't replaced him.
Yes.
So I think
that's an interesting
Tottenham
situation, isn't it?
It is, and I think that Tottenham are just going to have a gap to fill with Kane. They still haven't got.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've lost their two best centre backs over the last 5 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Belgian brothers.
New coach. Yeah, I think Tottenham have got some issues, and they're in a little bit of turmoil, especially if Kane fucks off. They are going to have a stinker, an absolute stinker.
I think so too.
I think they might get run over by City, man. I think
they've
I don't
also
think they're gonna be very good.
They have my most hated player in the Premier League, Dele Alli. I don't know what it is about Dele Alli. I don't know what it is. I've never met the guy, but when I look at him, I think you're a fuckhead.
He is the case, man. He's the case of a lot of young players that play football nowadays. So what happens, and the reason why they don't make it, like they don't kick on. So I think by the age of 20, he had more goals and assists than Lampard, Gerrard, and Scholes and all that, right? But the problem is, and it's the same in the NBA, and it's probably the same in every sport at the moment, is that they have a breakout year, and then they throw fucking shit tons of money at them, and they re-sign a new deal.
Too much money.
And so at fucking 21 years old, he's already got 150 grand a week or whatever. So it's like, okay, well, what's the incentive to now push on and try to be a superstar? You know what I mean? And that happens to so many players. But that didn't happen.
I agree with that.
That didn't happen years ago with the likes of Lampard and Gerrard and all that, because money wasn't as big as it was.
Well, they were playing for a pint of Coke. Well, they weren't. But
I know what you mean, though. It's changed. Times have changed.
Dele Alli plays for a pint and a line of Coke. But, yeah, I don't know. There's something about him. It bothers me. Hopefully I can come around to the guy.
Arrogance a little bit.
I don't. I watched him in that All or Nothing Tottenham, where Jose Mourinho was the manager, and he just, to me, annoyed me. Eric Dyer got into him a couple of times, which I thought was funny, and I would not want to get in a stink with Eric Dyer. He's like Luke Shaw. He's got one of those heads where you think, Jesus, this guy can throw.
The madman, mate.
Can throw him. But, well, that's the Preds. That's the predictions. I'm happy with them.
Yeah, I reckon we've... well, like I said before, we're either going to be extremely right or extremely fucking wrong.
Well, that's wrong, and we'll reconvene next week, and we'll have a bit of a chit-chatteroo.
Yes, mate.
Thanks for the time,
I'll see you on the next one, mate, and we'll talk again.
Will do. Thanks, buddy.
See you, mate.
See you, Connor.